Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the new moon in Aquarius with Jean, Sun Psychic Jean, Diana Bolts, and myself, Valerie. This is Illumination Portal. Woo, we have a lot to talk about. This is uh, this is a quantum jump. If you're if you're on the right side of the portal, because it's a big portal and it goes either way. So we need to focus. But before
So,
we do all that, go ahead.
right. Yeah. I just wanted to say hello to everybody and to thank you again, Valerie and Diana, for including me. I am learning so much here, and we hope that you're learning as well. Let us know if you have a question about what we're talking about and if we can clarify something for you. There's a lot of moving parts here in February. Things are going to be changing, but they're not moving fast from what Diana is telling me. Everything is moving methodically, very slow and purposeful, but it is a lot of things that are changing. So there's a dichotomy there. And it's also not just the new moon in Aquarius, but it's also the dragon, the wood dragon, Chinese New Year tomorrow. So there's a couple of things we're going to be talking about tonight. And again, I just want to thank Valerie from Illumination Portal and Diana for their expertise and their hospitality for sure.
Thank you.
Glad
you're here.
Sorry.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm really glad. Well, I was just going to say, ladies, why don't you introduce yourself? Say what services you offer, what your point of focus is on, because that's everything tonight, right? Point of focus,
Yeah.
where we're focusing on. You want to go first, Jean?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sun Psychic Jean is my YouTube and my website. You just look up Sun Psychic Jean. I'm a psychic and a medium and a student of astrology. And what I would like to maybe talk about, what my passion is helping others to become and be aware of their soul essence and open up their self-awareness. And all of this astrology really does help us connect to our guidance and our self-awareness and to understand the bigger picture and how things affect humanity. So this is my passion.
Awesome.
And I want to say this, both these ladies, well, all of our contact information is in the description box below, and everybody's available. Go ahead, Diana.
Well, like you, Val, I'm a psychic astrologer, right? And I do blueprint charts for people, especially those who have never had a chart done before. I can walk you through it and help you get a good handle on it. And so that as time goes by, you get familiar with your chart, you get to learn and understand what's going on in the sky and how it is affecting others and not just you. And so that's the basic understanding. I also do Akashic readings, and I also do tarot cards. And sometimes a tarot card sneaks its way into an Akashic reading because when I'm getting a visual, but I can't explain it correctly to you, I'll pull a card.
That's an excellent point. You know, we all see things differently, psychics, mediums, intuitives, and, you know, everybody does have that ability. Everybody is all of these things, but not everyone is an empath. So how somebody receives the information and explains it is just beautiful, because we're all different. You know, so
Yeah.
I'm a psychic astrologer, a psychic intuitive astrologer, and boy, I'm just growing every day. There's so much to learn, and as we connect all these dots to all of these modalities, we are all growing and we're sharing that with everyone else. I really appreciate you ladies for spending time with me and hanging out, and you teach me a lot every time we're together too. All right.
Back at you.
Well, here we are. And about an hour ago, the new super new moon in Aquarius was exact, and we have a few things going on. This is quantum. This is about where your point of focus is. Um, the more you can be that visionary. That's what Aquarius is known for, is being a visionary, bringing in the new ways of doing things. Look at the technology. Aquarius rules the technology in the astrology, and that's just going to really ramp up these next 20 years. But the thing is, we have never had a February like this, probably for 248 years. We have a stellium in Aquarius right now. It's a new moon.
Mercury, and what does that mean? What does the stellium mean?
Stellium means 3 or more planets in the same house together.
In Aquarius. Mm-hmm.
In Aquarius, in the same sign. Sorry, yeah. So as we move forward, there's a couple asteroids there too. I don't know who for sure, but I think Diana does. The thing is, to have these energies there, okay, Pluto just went into Aquarius January 20th. So Pluto's there with Mercury, with the sun, with the moon, and these asteroids. That hasn't happened in 248 years. And actually, I don't know if that even happened back then, because I was studying on when Mercury was last time 0 degree conjunct together with Pluto at 0 degree Aquarius, and it was 61 AD. So this is truly, this is a big jump for humanity. But as humanity jumps, we individually are choosing our path. And are we going to stay in the dirt, or are we going to release ourselves from things that, and freedom. Okay, free ourselves. That's a big thing with Aquarius. Freedom is everything. But so is the community. Everyone being free, everyone having a seat at the table. Because Aquarius knows they can make it happen because they're innovative. They bring outside the box ideas to the table, and fair, and they're very fair. And Pluto, he wants integrity. And then Pluto is really hard. If you're not in integrity, it's transform or die with Pluto. You don't have a choice. I mean, you can, but it's not pleasant. So we have a lot to discuss, and please ask questions, because Diana's first going to tell us what the difference between a new moon and a full moon is.
So a new moon is a conjunction between the sun and the moon. That means that they're in the same sign. Yeah. When it's exact, they are at the same degree. The moon moves much more rapidly than the sun. So the moon, within an hour or so, will begin to pull away from the sun, which is what has happened now. Like he's at 21 degrees. The moon is at 21 degrees now, where the sun is still sitting at 20 degrees. It's nighttime besides, right? So we're looking at the dark side of the moon because the sun is because of the way the earth turns and the position between the sun and the moon and the inability to see the quarter or the half or the other quarter or the full, right? Mm-hmm. So then when we have a full moon, the moon is opposite where the sun is, and you are getting full illumination because the sun is lighting up the moon. We're looking at the side of the moon that is lit up, okay? That always has an illumination to it, okay? So there's phases of the moon till it gets to that point. There's phases of the moon that wane it back down to the new moon. And what is a new moon about? Planting seeds. We always say that because you're not disturbing a lot, right? The new moon is you plant the seed and you use the patience from it to watch the seed begin to grow, to watch the seed to begin to manifest. And most of the time, within a 2-week period, you start to get that little tiny bud popping out of the surface of the soil. So that is why it's a completion, a manifestation when it's full. And that's a good time to transplant already existing plants. Now, you don't want to take a little tiny bud like that and transplant it into the soil, but putting it in a pot so that when the weather gets to the point, especially at this time of the year, when the weather gets to the point we can put it in the ground and feel secure, we're not going to get a killer frost. Where I am, that's usually Labor Day weekend. So at any rate, that's when you do your transplanting, is at the full moon, because it's already started. It's already beginning.
And when you say, like, when you, in a new moon, like tonight, Diana and I have been saying this for probably a couple years now. It used to be you did your releasing on the full moon, you planted your seeds on the new moon, and that still, of course, is the way to do it. But there's been so much releasing. There's so much humanity's been going through that needs to be released, that we've all picked up these untruths, let's say. And we have to get them out of our bodies, out of our cellular system, so we can drop what no longer is serving us and bring in the attributes that we want to go forward with. So when you, whatever it is, new moon, full moon, anytime really, because we're in such a tight,
schedule.
Such a time on planet Earth in our solar system, because the age of Pisces is going away. The age of Aquarius is being born, but neither is actually here. So we're in this flux, in this chaos, and that's okay. The chaos is helping us release what doesn't serve, and you can see all the different things that humanity has to live under that really are life negating systems that will be transformed into life affirming.
Right.
But we do that for ourselves first. So once we release, take a piece of paper. This is what we say every time. Write down what no longer serves you, what really bugs you. And sometimes I'm still writing down the same things after months, after maybe a couple years now. It's getting better, but it just doesn't disappear. That doesn't mean that won't happen for you. But then on the other, burn that paper, then write your intentions down on the other paper and call in what you want.
Yeah, using plants as a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the taproot out, that dandelion's coming back. If you don't get the taproot out, that tree is going to turn into a shrub. Mm. You know, shrubs can turn into 80-foot trees, as a tree that's fallen that has a live taproot can turn into a shrub. And then battle itself to have one trunk gain a bole, not my name. Bole is a German word that means the girth of a tree. So grow enough that it begins to choke out the rest of the shrubbery so that it can return to a tree size again. Now, we use plants a lot as a metaphor for the new moon and the full moon. But it isn't just about the plants. It's about your own desires, your plans, how you go forward. You know, and touching back on Aquarius, we have this magnificent stellium going on in Aquarius, depending on where you are. For me, it's in the 11th house, as well as Pluto at the door in the 10th house. He's at 0 degrees. He's right there. That stellium in Aquarius is about detaching, because that is the one thing that Aquarius can do, is detach from the emotional needs of their own self for the betterment of the human race, if we should say, because they are considered the humanitarians. And that is not just for the betterment of the individual.
Tell me again, who is the humanitarians?
Aquarius.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
And another little fact is because of their ability to detach, and the same thing with Scorpio, the FBI and the CIA, and they love, and cops in general love, and fire department and love when their applicants are either Aquarius or Scorpio, because they have the ability to detach from their own emotions.
Yeah.
For some of the difficult chase they have to give way to.
Yeah.
You know?
And as, okay, so the opposite, on the opposite of Aquarius is Leo. So they're always rolling together, back and forth. Leo is known to be the sun, to be the heart. Doesn't mean Aquarius doesn't have a heart, but they will put aside their differences or their needs for the group. It's really a beautiful thing when you have all signs working in their highest vibration, right? Doesn't always happen. We're all kind of seesawing around, but it is a good time to take that detached approach, looking at, really, this is the time to really look at your life and where you want to go, and see that big vision, and know that these certain things are in the way of this vision. They got to go. You know? Does that make sense?
I just got a little bit of a hit here, and Lori Hunsinger has a message there at 7:16, Val. Yes. And it really did sort of resonate with me with a message I had earlier today. And somebody had said in the chat, and it was really profound because I was getting the hit as I was reading this. And when they were talking about the emotions and separating from the emotions and detaching from the emotions and putting the emotions, at bay or dealing with them, what you can switch emotions with is ego. Difficult detaching from my ego, from the ego that wants to control us with our emotions, the lies, the stories, all the what ifs, all the fears that we have. It's all stored over here that your ego is telling you. So whenever you see the word emotions, or whenever you feel the word emotions, it's a lot of times the ego that is toying with you. Yeah. So I thank you for saying that, Lori. And detaching from the ego is difficult. And it's, how do you detach from the ego? You look for the light. You listen for the creativity and for the spiritual guidance to come in. And this is how we detach. We use the ego and the emotions to serve our higher good, to serve our service, to serve our creativity and our spiritual guidance, not have egos take over this. We want this to use the ego to move forward, because we need those those first responders to be productive and caring enough to get there quickly and to do their job, but not sitting there crying because somebody broke their leg.
Exactly.
That's the balance.
It takes training. It takes training. And Lori, remember, I'm assuming this is your Scorpio sun you're referring to, but you have a moon, a rising sign, and you have a north node and a south node, and you have Mars and Mercury, and all of the planets are also in your chart. What sign are they in? What house are they in? How does it aspect your sun in Scorpio? And those are the other things that make us the individual. And that is also what makes education an individual thing. And as a retired school teacher, you shouldn't do that. Everybody is gifted and talented. And I wish to God that the school system would go to a 12, 13 student classroom and
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ascendant means that's the moment your eyes opened. That's the moment they smacked you on the butt and you took your first breath.
Oh, no.
So that is where you came to life. You were born with the sun in this sign. You were born at this time of the day. That's what gave you your ascendant. And your ascendant references the way you are in intimate relationships. So those you are willing to let in and have your primal scream with, or dance it out with, you know. So
okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to flick that up there. And while you were talking about something else with Lori, I didn't mean to do it like that. I thought,
but you know, it had a perfect placement if we think about it, because Laurie, where's your rising sign? That intimate self, your rising sign, is the one who's emotional. And how does it aspect your sun? And then your moon, oh my goodness, that is the emotions extraordinaire. That can be the temper tantrum, that can be the, you know, love till you can't love no more, all of that business.
Right. And we say this a lot, you know, everybody is every sign. You have them in you somewhere. There's some, even if it's a very little bit, you still have it in your body. Each chart is your divine blueprint from spirit. It helps navigate you through life. It's not doing anything bad to you or doing anything good to you. It's kind of, there's a better time than this, you know. But it's what you do as a free will sovereign being and the choices you make on how that's going to play out. But
right.
I wanted to say this about going back to the ego and the mind, because the mind can just throw you off, tell you you're the worst thing ever. I was taught to follow my heart. Okay, the heart is spirit. It talks and whispers. It's very low. It's not screaming. It's not, you know, over there shaking pom-poms. It's none of that. It's very quiet. But once he can hear your heart, which usually is in meditation at first, or, you know, when you're in those solitude, in that solitude environment, then you can hear spirit better. Until you can hear spirit, you're going to hear your mind and your ego tell you everything under the sun that isn't for your best interest. Once you can get to where you listen to your heart, the heart is the leader. The ego and the mind are to follow the heart, to make what the heart desires and prefers come to life. I just wanted to say that real quick. How about we say hi to everybody real quick? Hi, Sherry. I know Sherry's not here, but hi, Sherry. Voices from the Swamp. Hi, Viviani. Let's see, we have Randy. Randy, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Carolina.
Randy, we're all learning every day.
We are. Carolina, Majestic Oracle, Fatima, hi. Lori Hunsinger, Aaron Nugget. I never say that right. Do you know how to say that? Anybody? O'Nugent?
O'Nugent?
Yeah.
Like Ted Nugent, only with
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. MEJ, I'm sorry. Thank you for being here. Melinda Crocker, hi. Let's see. Oh, Kelly Kerr, hi. She's the vocal coach with the
right.
way to sing with the sirens. Yeah, she's pretty cool. And I wanted to say something to Randy just for a second.
Sure.
Randy, I have the same issue. My ascendant is 4 degrees Aquarius. And I have Jupiter at 3 degrees right next to it. So Jupiter expands it, right? So here I am in my first house filled with Aquarius. And that's pretty much saying your whole entire being is going to change. You're going to change significantly, because if it's on your ascendant, it is the first house, which was ruled by Aries. I am. Who am I? And you know, we all reinvent ourselves. We have these periods in time, but how
It's a
often?
great leadership quality to have. Remember that.
There you
Right?
go. And
Because
how?
it's the first house. It's
Right.
taking charge. It's being able to delegate. And it's Aquarius. So that humanitarian value comes forth with a few years behind your belt. You know, going through kindergarten, first grade, through high school. Then you begin how it works. That first Saturn return, which is another story for another day.
Yeah, it's a, I mean, thank God we have Saturn and Jupiter in a trine, which is a nice aspect, and they're holding up all this Aquarius. Okay, so we have this huge stellium in Aquarius, and it's squaring Uranus. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. Okay, so but we're talking signs on one hand and planets on the other. So you got basically Aquarius squaring itself.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe that?
It sounds like my
like, oh my God, I don't even know.
right.
I don't even know. Really, it is to me. It's a gatekeeping, because again, we're at this huge portal. Are you sure you want to go this way? Because they're gonna be really asking you and checking you at the door.
That brings us to this top of the kite that's in Pisces, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got this beautiful stellium in Aquarius, going along, moving along just fine, and basically in a parallel position. That means like 30 degrees apart. It can be more than that, but they're on an arc where they don't really see each other, but they're behaving like bookends, right?
Oh, Jean has the chart. If you want Jean to put the chart up for you?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. So they're acting like bookends.
So they're acting like bookends, and for the top of this kite, a kite is two sextiles and then one trine that runs the base like a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And the release point, because when the wind is in a kite, if you need to have that point where the wind escapes, and you need a tail to help keep it under control, right? So with Neptune being in the release point and parallel the sun moon as the moon continues to move, what's the story you're telling yourself? Is it a dream or is it the truth? This is where this kite with this Neptune is. Take a pause in your own chart. Where does it fall? And when you take that pause, next you look at that Sedna. And what is Sedna about but sacrifice and adaptation? And across from her in the trine is Venus, supporting each other in Sedna's decision. And Venus, because she is a morning star, is still wearing her battle gear. So she's willing to not only support, but help you fight for what it is you want. Mm-hmm. And then the sextiles from those two planets that lead up to that Neptune, who's a bookend to the sun, all that stuff inside of there is your reaction. How are you going to handle this? Where are you going to make the sacrifice? What are you going to believe? Where's the alternate facts? Think about simply the telephone. We used to call it a dial because it had a round circular dial. Now we still dial the phone, but there's no circular dial on it. So, right. So you change the language to suit the need of the era, right?
Okay, so all of that, what Diana is saying, right? We couldn't get it. It wasn't all on the chart. It would literally look like a kite if that part of Venus was coming down to the bottom. But I don't want to. That's a lot to learn on the charts. Well, here,
right.
Diana.
You can see it right here, right? It's Sedna to Venus, up to Neptune. And here we have the sun in Aquarius. Where'd she go? Right over here. So with that, it is, what are you triangulating? This is supportive to the triangulation, but what is it? Because it's Neptune, what's the story you're telling yourself? And because it's Aquarius, that bookend effect would be better used if you detach from the emotional side that Neptune can provide, because Neptune is water. He's the depths of the water, last sign in the zodiac, churns it all up. Is it a tempest or is it a calm summer day? And you're looking out at the seagulls and the pelicans.
Now I want to go on vacation.
Well, you got the ocean's what?
I know.
An hour away from you?
I'm not even. I'm surrounded by water.
There you go.
So here we are in this space we have not been in before, any of us on planet Earth that are alive right now. Maybe in past lifetimes, I don't know. But this is all new energy, and it's that quantum jump, timeline jump. The thing is, okay, today the sun and the moon were together in Aquarius. Okay, that moon's going to move off of there. On the 14th, 13th, 14th, Mars is going to come together conjunct Pluto at 0 degrees. These two are volatile together. Now, I'm not saying that to be scary, because it could be extremely passionate too. You know, we got Valentine's Day. We try to hope for the best. But kind of remember to not, if you're getting triggered, take yourself back. If someone's triggering you, remove yourself. It can be very triggering. Okay, and that's going to be about he's not going to be there but a few days, but still that lingers, right? So let's give it a 2-week window. So coming back to and leaving.
Yeah, I mean, there's a slow moving up to that as well, because that's the day that Mercury goes into Aquarius. So they're going to hang together for a little bit, because Mercury has just made a move into a new sign, right? So it takes a couple of days for him to start spinning his wheels.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is I was saying Mars, right? Mercury just did this. I'm sorry, I went out of order.
That's
on
okay.
On the 5th, Mercury and Pluto were next to each other, conjunct at 0 degrees. Now he moves really fast, but we're still feeling that. This is bringing that brilliance in that, right? That Uranus, brilliance at Aquarius, because they are such deep, they're deep thinkers. They like solutions, resolutions. They want to find out why, all those things. But that's going on. Then on the 13th, 14th, same thing with Mars and Pluto, 0, 0. That I'd start preparing for that now, because we're at the 9th. Go probably out to the 18th, 19th, because on the 17th, Venus is going to come up to Pluto. It's like they're giving a kiss. It's like they're giving a pass. Pluto's checking them at the door. I don't know how you want to put it, but it's going to be, you're not coming into this new energy. Mercury, Mars, Venus, these are all our personal planets. These are what we do every day that are moving and nonstop. You're not coming this way with that old energy.
Right. And I misspoke and said Mercury when I meant to say Mars. So I apologize.
So here we are. This is electrifying. Uranus rules electricity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're water signs, so they're, they rule water signs. So they're throwing the sparks in the air that create the static, not the static electricity, but the lightning bolt, the boom.
Oh, and that's a good point, because you need to drink water, right? This is another good drink water, because you're electromagnetic beings. Water transfers that electricity. That's what it's doing. So that's why, on the tarot card where the star card is reaching up and pouring water onto the ground, but reaching up, that's receiving the brilliance from spirit that downloads the information to elevate yourself and making it manifest on earth, on the ground, so think of these things when you get these downloads of information, because we're all going to get them. They're just coming in. You're reassessing what is going on, or you have plans to go forward in this way because you have a vision. So just keep that vision in mind.
So this conjunction.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Oops.
You're
Jean,
breaking up, so I'm missing what you're saying.
Go ahead, Diana, and then I'll jump in.
Oh, okay. They're the tough boys, right? Are they walking with a swagger, or are they walking as brothers working together? So for your own self, what happened back on October 7th in your own life? If you can think back that far, try to give it a think, because they were squaring each other. How was that swagger being used between them when they were in a square? Now they're in a conjunction in Aquarius. Are they really going to beat each other up? Probably not, because they both rule Scorpio and they're both in Aquarius together. And Mars is the older brother, man. Pluto's got to listen.
Do you see it like that? Well, Mars
Mars was the first ruler of Scorpio. Uranus didn't, Pluto didn't become a ruler until he was discovered in 1933. So we didn't know he was out there.
Yeah, but now that we do, he's got a lot of power. It's like Uranus is the
higher. He's younger, of course. You know, think about it. Your younger brother's got more, well, unless he drinks too much, he's got more power than you because he's younger. He's got more reserves from which to pull the energy. But you're the older, you're the wiser. And when you were kids together, he was looking up to you.
Mm-hmm.
So there is value in that familial story.
Yeah. Well, then that works with Uranus and Mercury, because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, right? That's a high consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliance coming in. Mercury's the one just constantly learning, doing, saying, writing. I'm sorry, Jean. You were going to go, and I.
That's okay. I wanted you ladies to finish your thought there. So when you were talking about Mars and Aquarius being conjunct, and you were saying that it may be triggering because of Mars's energy, that you were saying that people may be triggering you. And I have been finding that a lot of the questions in the shows that we've been doing is that we find that we're triggering ourselves. We're going back to that old story, and we're finishing our own story. And, you know, I thought it was really important to know that when we say, let's say, for instance, I'm 35 and I haven't bought a house yet, I'll never buy a house now. Like, you're telling yourself the end of the story, that you'll never buy a house now. You're putting these parameters on it. You're making these judgments. You're triggering yourself. We're limiting ourselves, which is maybe coming back up around Mars, to that we may be doing these things or saying these things to ourselves, or limiting ourselves. And it's really important just to be mindful. This is just the energy. This is going to pass. I'm going to be on my way to that progress of my spiritual path, of my spiritual growth. That it's going to be maybe a little bumpy here, a little bumpy there. We may be going back to our old mind games for ourselves, or we may be really sensitive to others around us. But just to be rest assured that there's just going to be a lot of changes through this February, and to hold steady, hold steady, and hang on to your grounding.
Right. Venus sextiling Neptune, those are your fantasies. And really what this is a good time for is your shadow work, because you have the brothers in Aquarius. What is it that's haunting you? What have you triangulated in your own life? How have you left yourself out of the story? So those are some good things to be working at right now.
Yeah, that's a hard conjunction. Mars and Pluto, they both rule Scorpio in Aquarius. I mean, these are signs and that aren't really emotional, but they are you know, can be trigger happy. Let's put it that way. I was trying to find a better word than that, but, you know, very sensitive at this time. And especially, well, the planet Uranus is squaring the moon and the sun today. So that moon's gonna pass on. You know, the sun's gonna tick by one day, so it's kind of still there. So it's still it's taking a pause. Don't, you know, Uranus is very electric and likes to jump. With him squared, that's making him not jump. It is to his detriment if he jumps too fast, because then, you know, that those lightning bolts are going everywhere. And before you know it, you have another issue. Because people it's been stirring up every unwanted thought I've ever had, you know, since Pluto went into Aquarius. It is just pulling this stuff up. And I mean, Diana and I talk a lot, but again, we're just like, what are we going to say? Because we know that we say, it's time to breathe, take the pause, but this is truly the best way to go forward.
And what we can decide right now is that we can't avoid it anymore. The future is upon us. It is coming. There's going to be a little do-si-do when Pluto goes backwards for a short time. But remember, when he does that, he's going to spend most of his time in Aquarius. He's going to spend very little time in Capricorn. So it's just like the final check to make sure that tar is dry on anything that's leaking, right? On any cracks that need to be repaired. So, and all of that really started in 2020 when we had Jupiter in the mix with squares and trines and all of these other things that he's gone through and coming back up to. And in 2020, Jupiter and Saturn were conjunct. Remember, the Christmas star was in the sky for the first time in 2,000 years. We were able to really see it the way we think that the Magi was able to see it. Well, in June, they're going to be sextiling each other. And
what
then
does sextiling mean?
Go ahead, Jean.
What does sextiling mean?
Okay, it's like a half a triangle. Instead of 120 degrees, it's 60 degrees.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question, Diana? When Jupiter and Saturn were conjunct back then, and that showed that the Christmas star, didn't Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto all come together? Then a couple months later, we had COVID, right? Okay.
Yeah, when Pluto got there, yeah.
Yeah, that's how powerful Pluto is. I just, you know, I'm not laughing about COVID, but that was the first time in 800 years that conjunction had been here, and we see what happened there.
Right. And so that trine is not going to be exact this time, because remember, when they squared each other before, their next aspect is this half trine, a sextile. And so this time it's not going to make it to be exact because there was a retrograde in there for both of them. Okay. Now nobody's retrograde. So in June, they're going to present with that sextile again. And then in August 19th, I believe, August 3rd, they will do it again in a square to each other. And then when we get into, and you can expect conflicts then, that square comes out of play on December 24th, on Christmas Eve day.
And we all know, I mean, this astrology this year, this new energy, it is that chaos period where we're leaving one age. That new age isn't started yet, but we're at the front door. We have an election year. We have all these horrific things going on in the world. This is all going to keep being, you know, that's that Pluto showing us, look, what's wrong? Why is this, why isn't there any integrity here? integrity in war would be no war, right? So we're going to work through that. This is why something Diana and I and Jean says, it is the best year to go inside, work on yourself, take your time, reinvent yourself to this. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, turn yourself into a queen, but you know, we can
treat yourself like you are one, because you are, and you're at home.
Well, thank goodness that this is a planet of duality. And this is the time that we can say thank goodness, because we're being shown all of the, you know, gutter, smut, and the worst of humanity. At the same time, we're being shown the best, the highest, the evolution, the fourth density, the fifth density of humanity, the awakening and the awareness of humanity, the healing of humanity. So as one comes up, the other one comes up. And this is the dualistic. As one comes into an extreme, the other is to an extreme. And what are you going to do? Are you just going to bite your nails and say, oh no, and watch this terrible destruction? Or are you going to say, I'm going to use this power of the duality to jump up over here and move in the evolution with humanity? Are we going to move into evolution? Each one is an extreme. Each one is dualistic. Where both are happening simultaneously. You say, well, how come I'm on this person's channel and they're telling me everything's bad, and then I go on this person's channel and they're saying we've never been better before? Because it's a dualistic planet. It's happening simultaneously, and we can work through both of these things. And this is what astrology teaches us. It teaches us what is happening out over here, what is happening over here, and how it's going to affect us, and which way we can do-si-do to get away from this, and which way we can do-si-do to come closer to this. It's all information. It's all power and information and history and projection. We can project, because of what happened in 2020, what's going to happen in 2024 when both of these planets come around again. Everything is connected. All of humanity is connected. This is it. We don't have to be experts. We just have to be aware and be getting your own chart, getting the planets, and some understanding will really help you to focus and to get through and to understand things. And I love that she asked whoever, I think it was Randy, who said, what does 3 degrees ascending mean for me and in Aquarius? You know, and learning one thing at a time, you know, and maybe sitting with that and having that absorb for a little while, getting to know a new moon. What does that mean? How does that affect me? What does this wood dragon mean? How do I understand this? And when does that change? You know, getting one concept at a time, one understanding at a time. And it really plays all together, you guys. It really does. It's almost like, it's another language. It's another language that is important.
Never lose sight of the fact that we have free will.
Yeah.
It's going to be what you make it. I love it. Randy says everything is for me.
Oh, everything is good.
Exactly, Randy. Exactly. If you stand in your integrity, that, you know, it's going to roll. It's going to roll away from you.
Yeah, and isn't it our perception too? If I think my life is crap, it is. If I think it's beautiful, it is. It sounds so simple.
Our life is a reflection of what's inside.
The other thing is the shifting foundations. Remember, we had Jupiter and Saturn together in Earth signs. Now is going to be going on in water signs. So it's the shifting foundation, it's the changing boundary, it is the adjustment, the dreams and the reality, and how do you make them both copacetic? How do you bring them together so that your dream comes true, so that your calling becomes your career, and you're not forced into a square hole and you're a round peg that's bigger than the square hole, you know?
And we're being given, okay, we're in these new higher, finer vibrations, and it is focus. It is that point of focus. Do I believe I'm in this, or do I believe things are a struggle? Because exactly what you'll get. But if you do believe you're in these higher, finer vibrations, and you're, this is a spiritual channel. This is all about raising the vibrational Mother Earth and being the love you are here. But well, no, but it as you own that, right? It's like you can create anything from there. You take a tiny step forward and the doors open.
Right.
It's really beautiful to watch. I mean, and I
Right.
see it happening to a lot of people. It's just that we have all been in that chaos period where it's staticky, Can I really believe that this is a good thing to be, to look at things like this? It took a while. We have been stuck in a mindset for 26,000 years that was put on us. Maybe I don't want to say we don't have responsibility. On a soul level, we do. But a lot of our governments, a lot of things that we just go along with to get along, when we know like people are dying because they don't have health care or whatever, we know that can be solved. And so many things like that. So that's where this Pluto and Aquarius is the next 20 years. He's just there to what they're going to work on. They're going to work on bringing these systems into alignment. They don't even want to call them system structures. They want to call them spiritual structures. We got this. It is us, though, the individuals, the billions of us here, who have these brilliant ideas and these new ways of doing things, and creating, new, CRISPR technology. Just think of everything that's coming out. New AI, new, there's just no limit. This energy is so huge. I can't even find the words for it. I mean, it's beautiful. And then tomorrow, right, we have the Chinese New Year, and the year of the wood dragon. That hasn't been here for 60 years. I must
Right.
look that up.
Can I address this now? Because I don't know, I cannot remember who it was who asked if China had an Aquarius moon. And I didn't know, because there's so many dynasties and thousands of years of celebrating Chinese New Year. What we know is that. And it runs on a 60-year cycle that runs through the elements from, all the wood, the iron, the water, and the air. Mm-hmm. So we have this. I went looking for, well, okay, does China have an Aquarian moon? Yes, it does. And it was formed, the one that does, that we can prove, is October 1st, 1949. Because that's when the communist state of China came into being. And that is an Aquarius moon when that happened. Now, we can't go back to the 25,000 years or 2,400 years of dynasties to the 4,000. What year was it? It was in BC where the dynasties began. They didn't write things down. Just as I had said earlier when I was talking about Brigid yesterday, things were not written down. You had to have it memorized because they didn't trust writing, that people would change it. And if you think about it, what happened when the scribes came in and started writing the Bible? Words were mistaken, misspelled, and all this other stuff. And the misspelling makes it sound like another word, and the misinterpretation that came from it. So it started in an era where we have no idea where the moon was, because records weren't kept. It was before Genghis Khan.
Wow. And see that, so I think Jay's saying in here, China and Russia and America have Aquarius moons.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
So,
I don't doubt that. I didn't go looking for Russia because I was doing many different things at one time.
Yeah.
And maybe I got a text message or two from a friend or one.
Yeah, in China, that's in the charts for the countries, the nations. But this is America's first Pluto return. This year,
Our country, yes.
and this is the first new moon in that Pluto return in Aquarius. So this is, ladies, I need a good word. What? Phenomenal, fantastic. I can't think of anything. You can create anything you put your heart to. I was going to say mind, but that's not true. Use your heart, because your heart's the one that's guiding.
So, Randy, are you 60 years old this year?
Am I?
No, Randy.
Oh, Randy.
You're born, but yeah. When is your birthday? How old will you be?
I didn't see. I don't think he had anything up. Hello, Chrome.
She said yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Ah, nice.
Thank you for verifying. It's definitely a 60-year cycle.
Yes, that's so cool. Hi, Mirella. Hi, Patricia. I'm just going to say hi to a few people.
Well, that's interesting. That it's a 60-year cycle. I'll have to check mine again. I think when I was on with the Psychic Triad with Terry Lee and Terry Suzuki and I both thought we were rats, but but I thought I was a rat, but I'll have to check mine again. Randy says she feels like she's 23. Good for you.
That's amazing. I love it. Just a number. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
We'll put that up there for everybody, because this is something you can do with this energy. And quantum physics, quantum jump, reverse age, heal yourself from, we're not for the entertainment purposes only. But if you say, I am healed of XYZ, and you just go about it, like call that healing in with your team, I don't think there's anything that we can limit ourselves on. Honestly, I really don't. And who knows what this is all going to create. Now this year, we all know it's going to be bumpy. The election, the things, all the circus going on out there. But after that, after next January, next February, the next Chinese New Year, we're going to be amazed at the things that have unfolded. And that we were witness to, that we lived through. I just think it's beautiful. Beautiful. And what's the full moon this month is in Virgo. So Virgo's going to come in and discern everything. This doesn't belong here. That
Analyze.
doesn't belong here. But it's going to get Virgo-fied, just what I call it. And once that happens, it's good. It's perfect. I mean, Virgos are close to perfect. They're
it's an analyzation. So when we get to that full moon, now we're going to analyze everything. This is where you can begin to see this fruition of these seeds planted now, and those dates that I talked about, like October 7th before. What happened to you? Where were you then? What was it that has reared its head again? And what else was I thinking about?
Well, that Mercury, Mars, and Venus hitting the zero with Pluto this whole month. And then on the 20th, we have a North Node conjunct together with Chiron. So this is a big healing month. This is big healing the I am, right? Aries, I am.
Yep.
Chiron, the deepest wound, the collective deepest wound. And there's many, but they're all getting a blessing from Chiron, really, with that North Node there.
And because of even how close they are right now, with the 2 degrees apart between Chiron and the node and the North Node, it's definitely a time to open up to what you have been through. Don't sell yourself short on that. You went through some stuff. Don't forget that. Now you can take that to heart and begin to recreate. what it is, the fire you've walked through, what you can do with the ashes. Oh gosh, I need them in my garden. That'll help pass it into the garden, into the
That's
soil.
perfect. Yes. Perfect thing to do with the paper you burned tonight in the soil. That, I mean, Dinah has all these good ideas about all the magical stuff that we can do. But really do take that time tonight. Give yourself standing out. I know it's cold in a lot of places, but if you can ground, you know, because it's electric, and if you can go on Mother Earth, dirt somewhere, barefoot, and let that flow through you like really good one time. I mean, we're never going to have this energy combination again. I mean, the moon's already moving away from it.
Right.
But wow, it's so powerful. So powerful.
Another thing is the big planets, the ones out there, they're not creating any aspects to each other.
Mm-mm.
So these long-term goals still have room to change, because it's only our personal planets that are going to make aspects to them for the next 2 months, I believe.
Yeah,
And so the biggest thing is to don't overdo, because that Jupiter in Aquarius is going to be, oh, that's me. But so many of us have it because of the generational. It is a planet of generation. But anyway.
It is a take your time, breathe, take your pauses, really assess what it is. You have been given like this major present from spirit. And how do you want to open that? How do you want to interact with it? You know?
Exactly. And in April, we're going to have Chiron conjunct Uranus. You know, when that happens, that's going to be what held you back has come back to show you exactly what it is. Change it.
Change. Well, and as you can see, we have the eclipse season coming up, the spring equinox. But this is the month that you really can gain a lot of ground, at least till the soil, right? At least get it to where it's, okay, my soil is nutrient rich. I've put my heart and soul into this, and I've taken my time and breathing through it. It isn't time to jump, even though we just had, not Austera. What did we just have? Imbolc, thank you. And that's first spring. And we're going to have a second spring, and we're going to have spring equinox, and we're going to have all these other points in time that are helping us cultivate that soil so we can grow the things that we want.
I said Chiron is really Jupiter. Jupiter and Uranus are going to be conjunct. And I said Chiron, please forgive me. But it is still the same, because it is Jupiter's expansion, and Uranus is, let's start over. What is it? Let's face it. Let's get rid of it.
Right. And we're going to obviously be here every full moon, new moon, and we have the eclipse season. We'll be here for the equinoxes.
And that happens in April, the eclipse.
Yeah.
The solar eclipse in April.
And in April 20th, we have Jupiter and Uranus conjunct. That's what Diana's talking about. That is is like putting a cherry on top of the best dessert you could think of, because all this work that we're doing up until then, and we have been doing for years, these last, let's say 4 or 5 years, this is kind of, Jupiter will reward us. Uranus is shocks and surprises, but Jupiter, if you've been working for your heart, working for spirit, working for humanity, I think it's going to be another huge blessing.
Right. So Akila is taking us seriously. She said, "I'm sitting with my feet in the grass right now."
Awesome.
You said go out and ground, and she walked right outside.
I wrote that somewhere today. Where did I write that?
That is so cool. Oh, look, Randy. And Randy burned everything. I love it.
And
Love.
on the day of the eclipse, which is April 8th, Jupiter is at 19 degrees and Uranus is at 21 degrees. Hello, that's already within orb to each other. So later that month it's going to be exact. And they're already on the day of the eclipse showing the way, being determined. It is in, what you call it, in Taurus. Taurus is a fixed sign, it's determined. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Makes it manifest on Mother Earth. Taurus is an earth sign. And Jupiter and Uranus are both in that. But we'll come up to that. Now it's time to cultivate your soil. Think of it like that. Think of you as the most beautiful seed you're planting in this perfect soil. And how am I going to make those conditions perfect for myself? You know? Oh my goodness. Thank you, ladies.
What all this is telling me, Val and Diana, is that it's really important for us to keep our finger on the pulse here so that we know that this too shall pass. If it's a challenging time, it's also a good it's good to know what's coming up so that we can plan for it. It's good to know the whole big picture. Sometimes, it's not just it's just multidimensional. It gives us hope. It gives us perspective. It gives us understanding of things, and allows us to see things in a different light, and to understand, to, like, sometimes when we feel like the whole world is crashing around us, we can see that light. We can see that, oh, this is why that I might be feeling like that. And to know these energies are moving and what to expect when. And it's the knowledge and the understanding, and to know that it's not just you, that it's not your, it's not you're causing it. It's the energies that are around us, really does give us power to stand in our own power and to put things in perspective, which is peace of mind, which is just priceless.
Oh, that's
beautifully.
That's what I love. Ladies, you both blow me away because you have a way of work with your own unique way with your words, and you can feel and understand into this, because it is a big picture thing, and it's a lot. There's a lot. Oh, that's going to come on. So much going on.
It doesn't want to.
But to keep that bigger picture in the back of your mind, or the front of your mind, in your heart, really, is the best place for it, because there's a lot we're going to live through. We haven't, and I could say this about even last year. We never lived through that energy. We haven't. But this is telling us, the universe is telling us, pay attention, utilize this time period.
Right? Utilize this time period, utilize this information, utilize this energy.
Consider this into the future through the past darkly.
Oh,
right? Every good boy deserves a favor. If you remember that album, Into the Future Through the Past Darkly.
Who was that? Why do I know that title?
Oh yeah, now I can't. I can hear the song going in my head, and I can't even think of who did that.
It's okay, don't worry about it. Oh goodness, Erin, the eclipse will be the day before her birthday. Oh my goodness, that's going to be beautiful.
So the Crone Zone, she says, I dug in the dirt today, created new moon crystal grid, and lit my new moon candle and burned my intentions. Wow. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What an example for all of us. If you do one of these things, it's an amazing, it's an amazing tribute and just action step for us to take at this time. That was beautiful.
I mean, we honor Mother Earth and put your intentions out there, and they bring it back to you. Those little opening of the doors, just those little action steps that she did will open a huge, open and open and open. It goes on and on and on. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay, well, let's see, we will be back for the Virgo full moon. Sorry, Virgo's going to clean out all the things that don't belong. And is there anything either of you beautiful ladies would like to say before we leave?
I think we've covered enough and making people's heads spin enough. Just know that all of those close planets, Mercury already made the conjunction to Pluto, Mars is doing that, and Venus is going to do it as well. So that do-si-do is going to go on, and then they're going to do-si-do with the sun, and then of course the moon will make its own little aspects as we play out the rest of this month.
Mm-hmm. And we will keep you updated. We love you all. Thank you for being here.
Let me see if I can get it now. No. Oh, maybe it's because my name. No, it gave me a lot of.
Point thumbs a little bit more, maybe.
The point
I don't
that's
know. I don't know.
Oh man, I think
That's
my
a perfect heart, if you ask me.
Yeah, you got a perfect heart there.
I think it's because for some reason my camera's got me sitting over here instead of in the middle, and I think my name tag gets in the way of the shape as I go forward. See?
Well, Diana is sending you hearts and love.
Yeah.
And we all are. Thank you, guys. We
See if I
love
can
you.
get balloons. No.